Welcome, Richard.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to present to this issue. It matters a lot to us, and we hope it does to you too. We do understand that the council's we understand some of the financial pressures that are facing the council at the moment. Like many others, we have been following closely the progress of this project and have been immensely irritated by the repeated promises followed by repeated postponements. We chose option 3 to have the scheme implemented this year. The process is started well before amalgamation of this Banks Peninsula with the city. And indeed, one of the chief arguments in favour of amalgamation was to secure access to greater funding for infrastructure than the Banks Peninsula District Council could ever have had. After amalgamation, things moved quite quickly. We had regular updates from the council engineer and a few information meetings in Wainui. It was always made clear that the money for the project was available. The start of work was delayed only by lengthy procedural issues. I have in front of me a letter, which I think you should have copies of because I provided them, from the council project engineer Michael Sheffield, dated the 28th of March 2008, about progress. It ends with this sentence: "We are on track to complete the new Wainui sewage treatment system in late 2009. We understand fully that the earthquakes caused unavoidable delays, but at the drop-in meeting in Wainui in 2012, at which the grinder pump system was explained to us, confidence was still high that stage 2 could be completed in 2015, and we were most impressed with the planning that had been done already. As a result of earlier promises, we, and very probably others like us, included in 2010 in the construction of a toilet cubicle in renovations plans we were doing in our batch. A soil pipe was laid in the concrete floor leading outside, ready for connection, and a cold water supply was fed to the back wall. These are still waiting. You tell us that 75% of the submitters favour the adoption of option 3, the do it now option, as their preferred way forward, and we are part of that. My impression from roadside talk in Wainui is that a number of property owners who at present have less than ideal wastewater disposal systems have postponed improvements precisely because of the repetition of seemingly plausible promises by former councils to complete the job by a certain date. The results of such action or inaction are easy to predict: more leaky septic tanks, more bacterial pollution of waterways, and more smells. Forgive me now for talking a bit about smell. Property owners who live downwind of a neighbour's takeaway tank will, like us, experience the nasty smells that come from them at times. There has been some improvement in that situation recently, but basically the problem is just that whenever sewage goes into such a tank, an equivalent volume of air must come out through a vent, hence the smell drifting onto nearby properties. We have bitter memories of the visit of some friends from Holland to our batch, when the smell was appalling. We could not sit on our deck to have lunch in mild easterly conditions. Of course, later on, we had discussions with our neighbour about it, but such actions are embarrassing to us and embarrassing to them because they had spent their money on their system and they had no other solution. What we are hoping for by coming here is a win-win situation for the council and for us. We would get stage 2 done this year and the council would save a lot of money. By deferring option 2, the deferment to the next long-term plan, deferment would mean that improvements would be needed at the Seaview Lane plant now, an unnecessary cost under option 3, as that plant would then be decommissioned. If the scheme is deferred, the YMCA would need to make upgrades now, again an unnecessary cost for them under option 3. As property owners above Anchorage Bay, we observe the great work done by the YMCA as their students walk to and fro from Cape Three Points. We do not want them saddled with unnecessary expenses and may be forced to cut back their good work. If the scheme is deferred, the pollution of waterways would continue unchecked and maybe involve expensive treatment, unnecessary under option 3. Deferment would inevitably mean cost escalation. And deferment to the next long-term plan might mean even more delays, because we could come at the end of that one for property owners. The cheapest way to do the job is to do it now, and we would urge the council to adopt option 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I do apologise. I'm coming down with something, and I had to take drugs, so they're starting to kick in. But thank you very much for your time, and I will be playing back the submissions that I've missed. So thank you. Liz Studholme.